Welcome back to the Agentic Insider. I'm your host, Philip Swan. In this show, we explore cutting-edge ideas and trends in AI and data, as well as hear from other industry thought leaders in the AI space. This podcast is brought to you by Readiness and AI, committed to safe and responsible AI innovation. Let's dig in. Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Agentic Insider with Alistair Nye. Is a professional with over 20 years experience in data, AI, technology, and analytics. And he is a program committee member of the European Conference on Artificial Intelligence. He's also an adjunct professor in the Masters of Technology program at NYU School of Engineering. And he is the co-founder and chief AI officer at AI4Purpose Inc. and previously head of RWE Analytics and Data Science at SAS. Dhaval Patel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Dhaval, we've been excited talking to you, both Alistair and I. But can you tell us what future you're solving for?
Well, yeah, no, that's a great question. And thank you so much, Philip, Alistair, for having me today. So what future? Well, is if I think of the future that I'm solving for is where really data and AI and this technology evolution, they can stand together, right? They are not just powerful technologies and tools, but they can be and they will be the trusted partners for humans in decision making. Now, I know we see AI as a threat. There is a lot of resistance and reluctance in AI adoption to some degrees. However, we are on the verge of having AI becoming an integral part of our day-to-day lives, right? And believe it or not, AI is here to stay and it will flourish going forward. So what in my particular areas, I have been mostly involved in healthcare and life sciences. And a strong horizontal of my skill set has been data science and AI for over a decade now. So in life sciences, what that means is accelerating the path for the drug discovery, getting the drug in the market by leveraging this cutting edge AI technology and tools available, right? Breaking the silos, right, in the life sciences industries, and how really we can go beyond the traditional drug discovery approach that sometimes takes years for a particular therapy to come in the market. Now, I also have a personal tragic story about my dad who had an IPF, which was an irreversible condition. But at times, yes, the drug, there are so many trials in the pipeline, and the drug could be available in the market earlier if there was the right technology available, right patient pool available, who could respond to the therapy, and of course, the right evidence that can be generated, right? So that's what I'm thriving for, where AI can become part of this new scientific breakthroughs, help people, humanity to flourish. Now, on the flip side, as a father of two young kids, and both of them, they're AI experts, right? They're on ChatGPT pretty much every single day, right? One tab is open on my daughter's Chromebook, and she tells me that she knows everything now, thanks to ChatGPT, and I don't know anything. I don't work in AI, according to her. But what I what I am looking for that generation, especially, I want them to inherit a future where technology amplifies their capital, right? Their potential, right? It's just not dummify. I don't know if that's the word, but
It's giving them superpowers, right?
exactly, yeah. So I don't want the technology to cripple their thinking, the potential that they have, right? I want the technology to amplify their potential, and they will have a better life, better future for them as well, right? For them, and not just for them, but for every human beings and for every family. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's the future I'm solving for.
That's awesome. And I've just say, as a father of two myself, mine are now probably more grown than yours. I still know nothing, so get used to it. It's
Well, finally, we are at a point where they assumed that I work and I do something. Up until last year, at least for my younger one, he was like, "You stand in front of the screen whole day," which I can do it as well. So he didn't think I work for something, right? But anyways, that's a curse of working from home.
Oh, it is absolutely, and I mean, I think for us, you're speaking the same language really, because we have three pillars of responsible AI. We talk about AI being ethical, AI being safe, and AI being good for people and good for the planet. And I think that's really aiming to benefit society, okay, and individuals as a whole. Improving healthcare, improving education, about creating those positive impacts. So I think that's really lining up with the way that you're talking about this. We see that we have a principle around human AI collaboration. We want systems to be able to augment and enhance human decision making, and creativity, productivity, things like that. But at the same time, we also feel there's a huge social and cultural impact, and we want AI to be attentive to that. And so, when I look at what you've done, you founded your AI for purpose. And really, I think this is, this organization here that you're doing it, this it feels like this is really around AI for social good. Can you tell us a little about why you decided to found it, and then what you're really trying to achieve with the organization?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So AI for Purpose, it's non-profitable 501(c) organization. I have been fortunate to work with really, I would say, superhumans in the industry, right? And then pharmaceuticals, life sciences, healthcare, and of course in finance as well, where I started my career. And so these leaders, right, they also had same thing or something in common, and it was kind of on the same thread. How do we make the social impact? And now with all this explosion of AI and bringing all this leadership together, right? How do we really harness the power of AI to make that social impact, to impact people's lives? And again, it was really close to the personal story that I and many of our advisors and co-founders share, that how do we really enable the next leadership, next generation of the leaders, right? Through innovation, through mentorships, etc. If I go back to and look at my career path, I happened to land on the journey of data science and AI accidentally. Like I didn't really choose, right? And back in the days when I started data science, it wasn't it wasn't even known as data science. And when DJ Patel in around like 2011, 12 coined this term like sexiest job in the 21st century and whatnot, I married to that title. In two of my previous jobs, I even fought for the title. But the journey that led me to become a profound data scientist and AI leader, really, if I think back, if I had a good mentorship, good path, to good network, I could my career could have been much better. I mean, I don't have any regrets, but I could have made better decisions, not accidental decisions, right? So that's where many of us, we were sharing the same passion, and the couple of co-founders and we were talking basically, how do we make this happen? How do we create an organization that also stands on these three pillars? We have three pillars: innovate, connect, and mentor, right? Innovate is more like incubation, so we host a bunch of hackathons across the country in some of the prestigious universities, NYU, Columbia, etc. We work with this new breed of AI experts, right? The students, etc. Try to generate innovative ideas and create more of an incubator. We also kind of create this network, right? We're connecting people and bringing these ideas and kind of harnessing the power of this collective intelligence. And then mentorship, again, it's more like, how do we really take this incubator ideas, right, and take it to maturity stage? If I look at my data science career, like 80 to 90% of my work has been just on my laptop. It never saw the daylight, right? Two reasons. One, there wasn't really a proper roadmap, right? How do we really deploy those models, etc. It wasn't well thought through. Back then, maybe technology wasn't, or the platforms weren't that mature as well. And second, funding. No funding, no daylight. That has been kind of the key theme, right? And so really to create or rather accelerate the innovations, right? We co-founded and I co-founded AI for Purpose with some amazing leaders in the industry.
I'm listening with fascination here because you have had an incredible career, going from NVIDIA as a device driver, right? So which is goes back to where Alistair and I started off life as well. So we have that in common as well. Um, it, you know, it, it's being a data entrepreneur at Bloomberg and now building what you're doing. So Is there really a pivotal moment that shifted your career, right? That really going from a traditional software mode into data and AI, and if so, what was that pivotal moment in your career?
So there were two pivotal moments, Philip. And so one, when I hopped on this data science AI bandwagon many years ago, like I said, it was accidental. But I I started my career in finance, and back in the days, right? This is like 2007, 8. Finance was the only industry generating real big data. And I was working on real big data with the technology, pre-cloud era technologies, right? Mainframes and whatnot. And I got really fascinated about the data. The data is new oil, it wasn't even popular back then, right? So this is again pre the data oil era. And so what I saw was like the power that that technological evolution can bring, right? If you use data and information wisely. And in finance industry, I think finance is probably at the forefront of adoption, right? They are kind of high frequency trading algorithms and all kinds of stuff are existing for a while now. And so I, when I moved from, and I was in Australia back then, but when I moved to States, I saw that even in United States, that was the first time in 2010, 2011, I saw the job market and the demand for those skill set were even quite higher, right? And I really started kind of exploring like what is next pivotal point in my career. I came across a couple of folks who are still my mentors, and really, the guidance I got was, hey, is becoming the new thing, right? The big data slowly becoming popular. And so I was looking into options, and I'm twice PhD dropout. And so I was really looking like what would be my and I wanted to pursue PhD in the States. And so, what would be my PhD? What area I would specialize in, right? So, computer vision or machine learning, and then a bunch of other stuff I was exploring. And then I came across around this DJ Patil era where LinkedIn and all of those data science things were becoming popular. Data science, right? And I was like, this is the next new thing, next big thing for me, right? I started taking lots and lots of different courses and learnings and whatnot. And I came across Andrew Ng. He was at Stanford. So I was taking some certifications. And this is again before he co founded Coursera, right? So again, my interests continue to progress and then kind of becoming more and more passion rather just becoming an interest, right? So that's how I started my journey on this data science AI path. And then I got into healthcare after finance, and I really liked it, right? Like my skill set was really impacting people's lives. It wasn't just right about the finance, but it was about like how it can help people's lives. And fast forward in right before COVID in 2020, I had a personal tragedy that I mentioned, right? My dad was diagnosed with IPF, the idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, IPF, and then there was no cure. I was trying to figure out like how we can help and whatnot. And he was back in India. He couldn't even fly. His
I'm sorry.
condition got really worse, and so we couldn't really enroll him to any clinical trials and whatnot. And then COVID was at the peak, right around that time. And so a year down the road, he passed. But that actually led me to this co-founding AI for Purpose as well, right? Throw me towards a purpose where if I don't have the medical degree and I cannot be the doctor who can probably treat for those conditions, I at least can pay my or I can contribute to the society and kind of continue to drive that innovation, right? So AI for Purpose, again, I don't want to share a personal story of my co-founder or the CEO, but she has also the same passion, same story, her personal health story as well, which is all over LinkedIn. But so we were kind of driven with the same passion, and then now with AI for Purpose, that is giving us a purpose, right? To stay up in the morning, keep going until we really make something happen. We have right now 4 or 5 ideas, like early stage, mid stage ideas that we're working with and whatnot, right? That could impact people's lives in a big way. So that's something I find like those are pivotal points of my career, and hopefully that will kind of impact people's lives in a positive way.
That's fantastic. I just want to dig in one area, because we're talking about real AI applications and real use of big data, and talking about financial services having the lead on that. And I tend to agree with you in terms of maturity. But I'd love to just dig into one thing, if you can share. What surprised you most about the financial data analytics industry when you were there?
I think the commonality is kind of the explosion of the data and richness of the data. Now, even as technology matures and we as the users, right, generate more and more data, right, or every single moment is being captured somewhere, right, either financial or personal or social or healthcare related, whatever it is, right, collectively that defines us as a human, right, or our personal life, right. If there is a way to capture Philip's 360-degree view from whatever angle, right, it can help with the financial world decision making, or it can help with the healthcare world decision making, right? So I didn't see like a big shift in terms of the end goal. Although, yeah, in financial, it was a little easier, although it's heavily regulated industry, but it was a little easier because people trust technology with their finances, but people do not trust technology with their lives, right? Like life is a very sensitive topic. I mean, even if I had to make that decision, right, putting the human health in kind of the grace of AI or technology, right, I would be reluctant to do that. And so there is a skepticism or a little reluctance of adoption. In my opinion, finance is seeing this more of a value generator, right? And finance is also always on the verge of like, or on the toe of being the early adopter, right? The early adopter advantage. Versus in healthcare, it is more of the laggard, but they want to make sure that there is enough evidence, enough proof. Has anybody else done it, right? So I have been in the life sciences for so long, worked with pretty much major of like Fortune 100 or Fortune 10 even classified pharma companies, but they always ask the same question. Like if I bring an innovative idea, even within my group or when I was consulting to pharma, the first question they will ask, which other company has done it before? Have you done it before? Can you send me a case study, right? So they want to see the proof. Versus in finance, they are risk takers, right? So financial industry is more of a risk taker. And so that's the difference, Philip, I see in the both side of the world. Slowly but surely, the healthcare in general, right? Not just pharma, but healthcare is catching up, right? Especially in diagnostic and other type of care. Yes, it is catching up quite a bit, assisting physicians, note taking, etc. You can see all kinds of AI automations, and I'm sure at some point you will get into the agentic side of things as well.
There's a whole stink going on right now with Epic implementing their own
exactly.
scribe opportunity and just eliminating like $1 billion worth of investments in HIPAA compliant scribes, which is kind of interesting.
Absolutely. So, so Dhaval, from your perspective, thinking of, where you're from the chair that you're sitting in, how are you seeing the evolution of agentic AI and the challenges where you see it can really be adding value that's sort of opportunities to be addressed?
Yeah, I mean, evolution of agentic AI. Yes, it is. I don't know. I mean, it's exploding, right? So it's and then yeah. Let me also clarify. And I'm sure you guys know it, but like there is AI agents and there is agentic AI, right? So there is a solid difference, right? AI agent for plain, and I'm explaining this to some of my non-AI friends as well. Like when they say, "Hey, what is this agentic AI?" and then they interchangeably use AI agent, right? So I tell them basically that AI agent is someone you can train as an employee with a set of rules who can follow the direction, right? Like grab two buns, put a grilled chicken inside, put two pieces of tomatoes and lettuce and whatnot, right? And you'll get a really good sandwich at the end, right? So that's AI agent. Agentic AI, on the other hand, is more it can adapt that situation, right? It can probably track your mood. And if you're not in mood to have a hamburger, right, it can give you probably the food that you like, right? So that's kind of I don't know if it's a little lame analogy that I use, but yeah, that's the kind of the point that I wanted to make to my non-AI friends. But yeah, jokes aside, AI, agentic AI agents, there is a huge explosion, and I know a lot of us, I'm hearing from a lot of my friends as well. They are seeing AI as a threat to their jobs, and as you can see, right, all these headlines, right, Microsoft laying off engineers and other like top technology firms and whatnot, and then it is penetrating or trickling down to some manufacturings and like blue collar jobs and lower end jobs as well, right? So where this will go, I mean, yes, it's going to be a little bit of a turbulent path going forward, but like I said, I'm more optimistic with all this agentic AI becoming mature, or like more mature, and AI agents are coming along to help, right? So it will rather amplify the human potential, right? So you, rather than being just an employee, or just using chat gpt for your daily task routines, even if you're a programmer, rather than doing that, you will be probably spending your energy and your human brain, human power, to something more meaningful, more intelligent, right? So agentic AI, to my, again, yeah, sir, it is going to help the way we think, the way we do, right? And right now, I think we are just scratching the surface, or we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more to come in very near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, when you talk about the difference between agents and agentic AI, I mean, I think if you train an agent, to be able to assist you in no matter whatever your role is, and you have a series of agents to be able to help you, then you're moving yourself, from less of the operator and the doer and to more the supervisor over a series, as you said, of agentic employees at that point. But I think, to really have, a broad agentic AI approach, we're now talking about something where you can swarm large numbers, okay, of AI systems together in ways of solving these pharmaceutical, healthcare, life sciences problems, okay, and really hitting your first pillar around innovation for your AI for purpose, really smack on the head, I would think.
Yeah, and I have friends in non-healthcare field as well, like some of the small business owners, right, in supply chain and even shop owners, etc. They're also becoming more and more curious, like how they can embrace AI, how they can play with some AI applications. They've heard about AI agents or agentic AI. For them, everything is same, right? Everything is AI. And so how they can really start learning. So every social gathering is about that, right? Somebody has to turn on the switch about AI, and then things go on, right? So how do we do this? How do we? So it is naturally raising the curiosity bar higher and higher, right? And like you said, the innovations are going to come. I mean, in all industries, healthcare being, of course, at the critical juncture right now. And I see, be although yeah, it is my own assessment that healthcare being the laggard in the technology adoption and AI adoption. But there, I see that they are also kind of coming to the forefront to some degrees. I mean, they're adapting or putting money to in the AI based research, AI based tools, and then partnerships as well. Right? Just I was reading, Open AI kind of partnering and kind of uh, pumping money into Chai for healthcare innovations and whatnot. And so yeah, things are kind of going or firing on all cylinders, even in healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, taking one thing I wanted to drill into, because I loved seeing that it was something you were doing. So you're a program committee member for the European Conference on Artificial Intelligence. Tell us a little about why you decided to get involved with the European Association for AI. What was your reasoning for jumping on with that, and how are you looking to be able to guide it going forward?
Sure, yeah, no, that's actually that involvement. Again, it kind of my day job freed up some of my time, and when I was transitioning from SaaS, my previous job, and kind of getting involved in more some social impactful stuff, right, and trying to spend my time into things that matter, and wanted to also see like at the global front, right, what are the innovations happening, right? So that basically that gave me kind of a window in the European side as well. And it is more of a conference planning help as a program committee member. So there is a big conference coming up, right? European the conference of artificial intelligence, ECAI. So I volunteered my time there, both through NYU and of course through AI for Purpose, basically helping out, picking the topics that are really either trending or futuristic, right? And also kind of helping with the selection of the abstracts and submissions. And right now we are also assessing some of the final papers, final kind of the presentations and whatnot that will go in this conference. So really what I enjoyed is kind of seeing, right, like of course it's a global event, so it's not just limited to Europe, but there is, you will see, like it's European conference, right? So you will see a heavy European side like presence as well. So yes, US is leading the charter, US is leading the AI innovation, but European companies, European I would say AI entrepreneurs, right? They're also kind of at the forefront. And really, I enjoyed past, I would say 4 or 5 months being part of that committee, to see like the ideas, right? New ideas, and then of course attracting some of the like global talent to some of these conferences was really kind of key as well. The the one learning that I had was, right, I was up until now, I was in my own sort of small US based AI well, right? I worked in some of the global roles before, but especially in terms of AI, I wasn't really involved in much like at the global scale. So here, like hearing the perspective from the other side of the ocean, and kind of seeing what they see and where they see the application. Again, the um, especially in healthcare. I mean, as you know, right, US is unique in terms of our own healthcare system versus rest of the world. And so kind of seeing some of this, I would say equivalent or somewhat less advanced healthcare systems in the world, like how they are seeing the adoption of AI, right? Also, this conference is not limited for healthcare only. So you will see like finance, supply chain, all kind of burning issues, right? And how they're proposing the solutions, the papers, etc. It is kind of their gateway to kind of start the entrepreneurial journey or kind of take their products and ideas to next level. So that is amazing to see.
So you've got, this is like, you've got really a global perspective on what's going on now, with especially with doing the work in Europe. You're obviously interacting with businesses and enterprises and part of your work in all of this. In your opinion, what percentage are actually ready for agentic systems, in your opinion?
Well, Philip, that's actually a very difficult question. But if I have to do an educated guess, and again, yeah, yes, I do talk to a variety of people, variety of business background people, or even business leaders, right? And through AI for Purpose, we are guiding and advising few organizations as well, early stage, mid stage organizations as well. I mean, they all talk about it. It is again, before I give you my percentage, right? That magical number, or a range of that number. Let me take you back maybe 10 years ago when people were talking about data science. And like I said, I was early adapter or kind of riding that data science train very early on. Everybody used to talk about data science, right? And nobody was doing it, right? Or nobody was doing it right. So we are in the kind of same mode right now where everybody talks about AI and agentic AI. When it comes to the implementation and kind of putting the governance, I mean, AI is one thing, but then productionizing AI, it comes with a bunch of stuff, right? You need to think through, right? These companies need to have a solid AI roadmap. They need to invest into technology or AI evolution wisely. They need to also geopolitical situation, right? Like the geopolitical news is all around AI, right? Can you export the AI chip or not? Can you even sell or whatever, right? And then AI governance, right? So all of those things, right? And companies are not ready yet. Many companies are still struggling. POC or creating an MVP is one part, but then deploying it and productionizing it, it's a whole new ballgame. And so companies, I don't think they're ready. So to give you that magical ballpark number, Philip, I would say probably 10 to 15% or 20%. I'm not really kind of downplaying that number. I'm sure for a lot of people that number would be quite high. But for me, just being ready to kind of productionizing the AI agents, agentic AI or full AI workflow, they're not there yet. So they're still in exploratory mode.
AI readiness is a big thing. It's not just the AI use case; it's the AI readiness that is absolutely critical. Is data first. Where is the data? Is it how clean is the data? I mean, there's all the age-old problems, right?
Right. And even if there is data, I mean, the problem though is with like the governance, right? In my like data science career, and when I started working, especially in pharma industries, right, we were working alongside with statisticians, right, traditional statisticians, and they did not see this initial like data science explosion as a kind of complementary skill, or they were always reluctant, right? And so there is that kind of community will always exist, right? Same thing is happening with AI in some industries. Yes, everybody are kind of trying to see what we can do with AI, but when it comes to the putting AI for the usage or in production, there is a lot of reluctance, right? Everybody knows that AI, Gen AI, LLMs, they hallucinate, they need to be trained on the right data, they need to have proper AI governance. I mean, more and more awareness is coming, right? Like responsible AI, ethical AI. You will see chief AI officer roles are on the rise. AI strategy are kind of highly touted consulting helps in management consulting, strategy consulting organizations. And how to really properly use AI is becoming still like one of the top things, right? So every company that I talk with right now, they have some AI exploratory fund. They want to test where they can apply this AI, and I call it AI monkey because it's still hanging in the middle somewhere. They want to put this monkey on back of something meaningful, right? So it's more at exploratory phase. And some companies, of course, there will be the winners, right? Those unicorns, they are already applying AI, and they have been applying for quite some time, right? So some of these companies, we care about the major mass. I mean, some of those tech firms have been using AI for quite some time now.
Right. As the automotive industry, has manufacturing, financial services, etc. Exactly. So you're seeing some common mistakes that people are making, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What would some of those be?
Some of them, I mean, the common mistakes, like I said, they are without thinking through how to put the AI in production, or adapt the AI in more responsible way, right? A lot of people are kind of seeing AI as a boat that is sailing so fast that they don't want to miss it. So they are kind of just putting small bets here and there, trying different tools, different platforms, different even APIs, right? There is like a whole new gamut of like all these Gen AI platforms, right? And all those APIs and platforms even that can help you build AI agents and then wrap it around with agentic AI, etc. So for explorations, I mean, I have done ton of explorations as well in different use cases, but putting that in a more responsible ways, and having like a solid AI governance wrapper around it, it has been a challenge. And really, when it comes to more compliant industries like finance or healthcare, right, you need to also make sure that that governance layer is rock solid, right? So you're using the information in appropriate ways, and also having checks and balances, right? So you just don't leave human out of the loop. So how you can really kind of embrace this HI plus AI type of system. HI is human intelligence, AI is artificial intelligence, and then having this combined system in place which can complement each other, right? So AI can definitely parse through like millions and millions of records in a matter of seconds, right? Or even milliseconds, right? And then human on top of it can supervise, approve, disapprove, right? So the human needs to make sure. So again, creating this governance model is also becoming more and more challenge, Philip. So what mistakes I have seen: blindly adapting to some of the things, right? And thinking through without thinking through, right, how it can help, what kind of workflows, etc., to automate, or uh, to even improve upon. And plus, the companies are adapting some of these AI technologies without bringing employees in the loop, right? So employees are always threatened, right? In the back of their mind, right? They will always see this AI as a threat. And so I think there is also a solid need from early on, right, to change the perception that yes, there will be some revolution, transformation. I call it transformation rather than revolution. Some transformation, and employees need to also kind of embrace this transformation. They need to also be at the forefront of learning about this AI or tools or agentic AI, etc., and how they can really improve their jobs, basically. And so, really, a few. I mean, I call it a framework and governance in a kind of a nutshell that needs to be really well thought through, adapted, without kind of keeping the human out of the loop, and even employees out of the loop, right? Because you want to create a, a harmonized system where AI can live with our so-called dear human intelligence.
You're right. So look, we've seen the evolution, and you've definitely seen it in your career. You're talking about transformation, going from traditional programming to data science, now to agentic AI, and we're seeing all of these tools, vibe coding this, vibe coding that. And the reality of it is, in our opinion, is it's great to go to rapid prototype, but you need to actually go back to that use case, right? So I want to go back to, where do you see autonomous AI agents coming to life first? Which industry do you think that's going to happen?
Um, I mean, in my opinion, I think those autonomous agents, it can help in pretty much all the industries, right? But if I were to
Mm-hmm.
choose the very first industry, or kind of jobs where really the type of jobs that are really like rules based, right, where they are defined to do certain tasks, right, they are defined to do certain gather information, making certain decisions based on certain information, etc., right? And then, as we talked about earlier, right, like creating these armies of agents and putting a wrapper around and creating more of like a project manager type of agentic AI workflow, that is going, like those type of setup and task will be the first to kind of automate with the automate like with this agentic framework. Where I have seen is like scheduling, um, the notification system, like the AI agents, especially when in healthcare, I see more and more AI agents that really kind of goes through thousands and thousands of records, research papers, right, summarizing them, helping kind of gather information and really identify or help identify those needle or maybe needles in haystacks type of situations. And really kind of automating some of the low end work, lower level work, where it really doesn't require too much of human intelligence rather than the labor itself, right? So administrative tasks, those are really easy to automate with AI agents, and kind of really make it more perfect in a way that you are really like error prone. It just follows certain rules, right? Based on the rules, it can make the decisions. And so those type of, I mean, it exists in every industries, Philip, so not just like one industry to begin with.
Understood. And then, is there just a last final question for me before we hit the rapid fire questions that we always ask our guests? Is there anything about agentic AI that excites you the most, or the corollary of that, what concerns you the most that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, no, I think it's an excitement with a little fear as well. Like I said, the companies are still trying to adapt, and it is still fairly new, although it doesn't feel like new. The whole AI thing is not new anymore. Agentic AI, to my opinion, I mean, it can, if it is adopted responsibly, right, it can really boost the performance, the efficiencies all around, right? It can. I mean, I was really looking into some of the articles and reading around like how we can really apply even in healthcare research, right? So, um,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like going through this like vast or variety of different data points, right? Even just for one patient, right? From lab results to EMR data to medical claims, and kind of trying to understand the whole patient record, and then doing that for millions of patients, right? And of course, if there is a system available to do this in real time, how it can really help with the diagnosis and treatment decisions, right, in real time. Now
Mm-hmm.
that is something that we are kind of marching towards in healthcare systems, or in like patient care. Same thing for pharma companies, how they can really kind of do this faster drug discovery, right? So having that drug discovery assistant type of agentic AI framework where um, it can scan like millions and millions of papers, scientific papers, and then databases, and then different data points, and really try and identify from anything from unmet need all the way to like the therapies that will respond to the type of people, etc., and really kind of helping humans or the human teams basically to focus on things that matter, right? So avoiding or eliminating noise from this big plethora of information. And so there are yes, absolutely solid use cases that are on the horizon. And like I said, things are evolving
Yep.
much faster than we can imagine. And so I'm really excited to see like where this whole agentic AI will help going forward in research and bringing new therapies to market, improvising this personalized healthcare. Of course, on the other side, improving supply chain, making sure that we kind of really adapt AI responsibly all across us, basically, right? From automotive industries to supply chain to healthcare. And like I said, I have 2 young kids, so also to the education systems as well, not just leave them on to chat GPT, but have a properly governed educational platform as well, right? And agentic AI framework could also help there as well, right? They learn and adapt their capabilities and kind of challenge them and improvise them. I know China is kind of at the forefront of adapting AI in their educational system early on, right? I was reading about their elementary school curriculum is now embracing AI. And so of course, this is again, like I said, scratching the surface.
Awesome. Listen, rapid fire questions. What do you like to do for fun?
A bunch of stuff when I'm not in front of my screens, which I am kind of like mostly at least 8-10 hours. I'm a marathoner, so I run. I spend time with the kids. I believe in physical health as well because AI is crippling the human health if
Mhm.
not taken care. Yeah, desk jobs and then kind of sitting in front of computers all the time. So I try to keep myself busy with running, swimming, going with the kids, sports, etc. But also try to keep my eyes open, right? Like where we can again apply some of these learnings, where we can even learn from the other side, right? From nature, from kids, whatever, right? And bring that learning into the daily work. So that's where I keep myself busy, and that's what I love to do outside of the work.
Great. Well, and lastly, how do people get a hold of you, Dhaval?
They can reach me through LinkedIn. Bunch of them, they're my phone numbers and then emails as well, right? So yeah, I mean, and again, in person, I am trying to be at most of this conferences. I mean, lately I've also started being part of lots of hackathons, and as my time freed up, we are
Great.
also organizing AI for Purpose organized events. We just had our AI workshop a few weeks ago in the New York City, and then yeah, I was able to connect with lots of new folks there, right? So it was open event for anyone to attend.
Great. Dhaval Patel, thank you so much for being on the show today. And it's been wonderful having you on.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Philip, Alistair. Yeah, it was a pleasure to talk to you guys.
And to our audience, thank you very much for listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. That's a wrap on this week's episode of the Agentic Insider. Thank you for listening. For show notes and more, please visit agenticinsider.show. To learn more about Iridius, visit iridius.ai. We'll see you next time.